Welcome to your hip alignment therapeutic series. So if we can release the hip flexors, a lot of times the hip flexors are really tight, and that is actually what's causing quite a bit of hip pain. So a lot of times if you're just taking a regular class, there'll be some hip openers, but this series in particular is actually a therapeutic series to release the hip flexors. So forward folds, some back bends, some quad stretches. This isn't a flow. So it's not going to have like your typical flow. This is kind of just the therapeutics for the hips. So if we can release the hip flexors and drop the top of the femur bone back into the pelvis, then it calms the nervous system. It's great for constipation, insomnia, hip pain. I know someone is having some bursitis in their hip. So if I'm speaking to you, this one is for you. I am taking this right out of my therapy manual. So usually a couple of forward folds is really helpful before we start. This can be done as an add-on if you're in acute pain. This could be done 3 to 4 times a week. Notice if it gets better, then add some other stuff in it. You always want to work in your pain-free range. So this is for therapy of the hips, okay? So I want you to come up to stand. And let's start with this. I want you to grab a block. So if you need to go get a block, pause this and go get a block. Bring the block as high up the inner thighs as possible, and then stand with your feet sit bone distance apart. So sit bone is usually 2 fists. Maybe if you've gone to a class or you've done a teacher training, they've explained it that way. It's roughly 2 fists, but you want to have the toes pointing forward. So I want you to imagine, and I might be dating myself here, maybe some of you will know this, a Pez dispenser. You know those Pez dispensers, they came in all different Disney or whatever, and there was like these candies that went into it. I want you to imagine that you are a human Pez dispenser and scissor the legs together. So squeeze your block. Your block is the Pez. Now, a lot of times I see people and their posture is like this, or their feet are externally rotated. If your feet are externally rotating, your hips are externally rotating, which is causing jamming in the low back. That's why parallel is really important. And then from your pelvis, energetically, I want you to think about giving it back down to the earth. And then from your pelvis up through the shoulders and the crown of the head. I guess I don't need my glasses. All the way to the crown of the head. So nice and tall. And then squeeze the Pez, which is the block, squeeze in towards the middle. And then if you're not in alignment and your hips are thrown forward, if you feel your hip flexors, you're going to actually feel like a ropey kind of feeling. I want you to draw the top of the thigh bone back so that the hip flexors get soft. Your butt is going to stick out a little bit, and that is like internal rotation. So what that does is it gives the low back some more curve, creates space at the front of the body, and opens the back of the body. This is what it would look like exaggerated, but now I want you to come back to the middle. So keep your hands on your hip flexors and lengthen the tailbone without feeling that ropiness of your hips. This is like neutral. Nice low back, tops of the thigh bones are drawing in. And just close down your eyes for a moment and invite healing energy in. Maybe think about breathing into the hip area, offering it kindness and love and support. The intention is everything. So bring lots of awareness to that area. And then you can bend your knees a little bit. Slowly bend the knees, move the butt back so the thigh bones stay back, and then bring your fingers to the floor. So just little forward fold. Keep squeezing your block. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and then slowly start to straighten one leg. And then the other. And then one leg, and then the other. Beautiful. Do that a few more times, opening the back of the leg, really softening the hip flexors. Lovely. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows back, shoulders back, and inhale and come on up. Lovely. Release the block. Just notice what that feels like. Okay, so you're going to need a wall. Now, I'm going to just show you over here. I want you to come into L shape using the wall. So the upper body is parallel to the floor. I think you can see me. The upper body is parallel to the floor and the knees are slightly bent. And then I want you to think, stick your butt back a little bit. Then draw the belly in towards your spine. Push away. So this is a really good alternative, especially if you're watching this and you couldn't get into downward dog. This could be the warm up. And then you're going to inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale, just back to neutral spine. So neutral means that you're keeping some low back curve. You're not really rounding the back too much. You're just small little pelvic tilts. Oh, that feels so good. Beautiful. A few more. Keep pushing in. Keep drawing the top of the thigh bones back. Lovely. And then release and come up. Find your way into downward facing dog now. Now, downward dog has its own alignment. So I want you to come forward, make sure your shoulders are over your wrists, butt is like you're in like a plank, and then exhale, stretch back. If your shoulders are really tight, go a little bit wider. I actually find some of the yoga mats are a little narrow and we want to stay in and then we don't have any opening in the shoulders or it feels jammed up. Bend your knees, stick the inner thighs back again. So that's the internal rotation. And then just very gently lengthen the tailbone and push. Tops of the thigh bones back, and you can pedal the feet out here. Notice what it feels like. Take a few breaths. And then come down on your knees. Take your knees apart, big toes together. Come up to kneeling for a sec. Take your thumbs, bring them into the hip creases. Internally rotate back. Keep your thumbs in the hip creases as you lower down. So now your thumbs are like smushed into the hip creases. Slide your thumbs out. Reach the arms forward. We just created a little bit more space. You can actually do this with, and I didn't tell you at the beginning, but if it's something you want to play with, roll a washcloth and stick it right in the hip crease. You're just giving your hip crease some space. So if you're down here and you're feeling any pinching, give it a little bit of space. And then inhale and come up. You're going to lay down on your back and you're actually going to use the baseboard for your feet. So it's like you were standing on the wall. Your feet are sit bone distance apart again because you want to keep making sure that there's like good space. So get your feet right into the wall like you were standing. They're just as active as when we did mountain pose, Tadasana. And then internally rotate the thighs now so the top of the thigh bone draws back. It's like you were trying to get your hamstring down on your mat. For most of us, that's going to be really, really hard. Now, I want you to keep your left leg active and draw the right knee in towards your chest. If you feel like you're lifting away from the wall or your thigh bone is lifting, back it off a little bit. Otherwise, knee comes in. As much as the knee comes in, push the left heel away. Oh, this feels so good. Notice your foot. I'm telling you, my tendency is that my foot would be splayed out. It's too much external rotation. So that's why the toes are up, just like in mountain pose. Imagine you were back there and draw the knee in and maybe add a little bit of movement, just a little bit, and then extend. That already feels longer. Switch sides. Right toes now are completely up. The inner edges of the foot are also grounded as much as the outer edges. Yeah. And then release and feel. You could actually do that a few times. Let's do one more. Push into the left heel, draw the right knee in. Add a little bit of movement, and then release and go to the other side. Make sure that the opposite thigh isn't actually lifting up. You could check to see if your hip flexor is ropey over there. Oh, that's good. And then release. Okay, notice what that feels like. Notice if the legs feel a little bit longer. There is a recording already in the healing section of the two belts. This would be a great opportunity to also add that in because that's drawing the tops of the thigh bones back. And then bend your knees, bring your arms up, and just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. I want you to keep your shoulder blades down though, so you're not taking them too forward, too far over so that you're lifting up. The shoulders stay down. Oh. The next time on the left side, hold it there, stretch your right arm and stretch your right knee away from you. So this is like a nice big internal rotation, which will soften the hip flexor even more, and then go to the other side. Grab the wrist and stretch. And then come back. Beautiful. Give both knees a hug. Gently make some circles. You could do them together or you can do them apart. Add a little bit of pressure on your knees and then the other direction. And then roll yourself up. Okay, next one is cobra. So we're going to open the front of the body a little bit. So you can do this on your forearms or hands underneath your shoulders. Shoulders back. Inhale. Straighten the arms. If you can keep the pelvis down, straighten the arms. If not, the elbows are bent. Make sure your shoulders aren't up by your ears, but they're back. Oh, yeah. And then maybe add a little bit of movement. Okay. Roll down, make a pillow. I'm going to turn this way. Make a pillow with your hands and windshield wiper your knees just like this. I know this table is in the way. Oh. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to stretch out our quad. So keep your left forearm in front of you and then bend your right knee, grab your foot. Now you could use a belt if you needed to. Do I have a belt here? Yeah. So if you couldn't reach, you could do a few things. The first one is you can lay over onto your left side and grab your foot this way, or you can lasso your foot and then grab the belt. Forearm down, so it could be here. Otherwise, just grab the foot. Try and square the hips off. Push the pubic bone in towards the floor. Make sure your knee is lining up with your hip. So if it's splayed out like this, bring it in. Make sure everything is lined up before you do this. Then draw the left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Push the pubic bone in towards the mat and push the knee away from you. So your glutes are engaged. That's going to protect the low back. Hold it maybe for like 5 or 6 breaths and then release. And go to the other side. So this is nice to do as an add-on of a class or as a standalone. Sometimes if I've done lots of hiking, I know some of you are like in the middle of like Snowmageddon, you're hiking, snowshoeing, skiing, this would be great. Push the pubic bone in, try and draw the heel a little bit closer to your outer hip and extend out through the left knee. This is also really good if you have any hip issues. This would be really good. I believe every single one of these would be really good. Hip replacement therapy, obviously when you get the okay from your doctor. Okay, one more breath. And then release. Lovely. Okay, come on up. Now, some of you will want to bypass this one. I'm going to actually sit on a block. You could use 2 blocks. This is Virasana, hero's pose. You might not need a block if you can have your heels to the side of your hip and your feet are not splayed out. They're really grounded, the tops of your feet. If you can get your butt back and down so it's touching the mat, you can go all the way back. This one doesn't really work for me a lot. I actually feel this in my low back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually slide a block under my hips. Now it's a tiny bit high. I'm like just hovering over the ground. So option to stay right here, just sit on your block and take a couple of breaths, stretching out the quads. Your knees might not like this. So if that's you and your knees don't bend in this way, you can sit up higher on something or watch the end of this hero's pose and then join us. If you can go all the way back, now I keep making sure that my butt is grounded. This might be where I stop. If your knees start to splay out, then you want to back it off to where you can keep your knees together. So this is like big internal rotation, dropping the thigh bones back. Take a few breaths wherever you are and see if you can soften a little bit. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper. Maybe it's forearms. I know for some of you watching, you might already be laying all the way back. Take a few more breaths. Remember, this isn't supposed to be like a workout. This is actually a therapeutic series. Okay. You've done that long enough. You're going to take your block and we're actually going to go into bridge pose. But just like when we were standing, You're going to bring the block in between your inner thighs. Move, if you have your hair in something, move it away so the back of your head is right on the mat. That's for me. Squeeze the block. Feet are sit bone distance apart and parallel. Maybe you could just graze your heels. Keep squeezing the block. Inhale, lift, peel the spine away, shimmy the shoulder blades in, lift your head. You can keep your hands by your side. And then think about drawing the knees forward and lifting your heart towards your chin. So you're not dropping your chin. This should not be hurting your low back. And then slowly peel the shoulder blades away and lower back down. Take another breath here. Inhale, engage your hamstrings by pulling your heels back. Lift your hips, peel the spine away, shimmy the shoulder blades in, ground your hands, lift your heart towards your chin. So you're not dropping your chin, you're actually pushing the back of your head into the mat. I want you to think about lifting up from the palate, the roof of your mouth. I know that's a weird request, but it's actually going to keep curve in the spine and in the neck. Exhale, lower back down. Okay, let's do that one more time, 3 times. Make sure your head is forward. Lift your chin. Engage your hamstrings by feeling like you could pull your heels back. And then inhale, lift. Beautiful. Keep moving your heart towards your chin. And then slowly release. Walk your feet out. And take a couple of breaths. Just notice what it feels like. Maybe your hip flexors already feel nice and soft. Okay, roll yourself up. Come back into downward facing dog. Come back into downward facing dog. So we're going to do one standing pose, but we're going to do it in a therapeutic way. We're going to do side angle. So back heel down. I want you to bring your toes in a little bit. Like often I'll say, come into a heel to arch stance. It's still a heel to arch stance, but your toes are in. So you're facilitating a lot of internal rotation on the back leg. And then bend the front knee, bring your elbow to your thigh, reach the arm over your ear. And so shoulder-wise, if that's too much, keep your hand on your hip. Otherwise, you can integrate the head of the arm bone back and reach up. You might have more mobility. And then really lengthen the tailbone. Oh, yes. Now, if you've gone too far, your hip is going to be forward and it's going to be ropey. So draw it back. That's why we're doing back foot in a little bit. Take 3 breaths here. And then inhale to come up. Bring the toes in and go to the other side. So your toes are in. Bend your front knee. So that it's like at 11 o'clock, let's say, with your left toes. And then shoulder back, reach. My whole hip flexor is released now. Tailbone down, reach through the fingertips. Tuck the tailbone now, but not too far that you're throwing the hip out. The hip stays back. So it's like the hip bone, greater trochanter, outer knee, outer heel, all one straight line. then shoulder and hand. Take 3 more breaths. Beautiful. And release. Come on up, toes in, come back to the top of your mat. Okay, 2 more poses. This one, if you have knee issues, you're not going to be able to do it because there's no modification and we already did quad stretch on our belly. So you can actually go back to that one if that works. Otherwise, left knee forward. It's like pigeon, but I want you to have a quad stretch. So if you can't get here, go back to your belly one that we did, or skip it all together. Take a few breaths. Push your hand into your foot and your foot into your hand. And release. Second side. You could slide something under your butt. I didn't say that on the other side or the first side. Grab your foot. Beautiful. And release. Roll over. Last one. Baddha Konasana. Butterfly. Bring your feet together. Bring your hands behind you. Push your hands into the earth and then lean forward a little bit. Move the inner thighs back. Big stretch, inner groin. Hip flexors are back. Keep your feet together. Shoulders back. Lean forward a little bit. That's going to draw the tops of the thigh bones back. You could sit on something. You could roll the back of your mat because this will tilt the pelvis forward also. Just like that. And then slowly release. Come on up and walk around. Shake it out. Good job.